International. Welcome to Lingua International. أهلا بكم ومرحب بكم النهاردة في Lingua بيت المترجم الأول. إن شاء الله بإذن الله النهاردة في لقاء جميل وبسيط عن الريموت انتربريتنج مع الأستاذة سارة تايمان. وإن شاء الله بإذن الله هتكلمنا النهاردة كتير شوية عن إيه هو الترجمة الفورية عن بعد، وهتكلمنا كمان عن تفاصيل متعلقة بالفريلانسنج في هذا المجال. طبعا بنرحب بيها وبحضورنا كلهم سواء المتدربين أو المحاضرين دكتور هبة حسين أو كل المهتمين بالترجمة الفورية من الأصدقاء وزملاء لينجوا انترناشونال. أهلا بكم، ونبدأ مع ثالث أو رابع محاضر أو ضيف في سلسلة The Ease، وهي اختصار للخبراء وتبادل الخبرات في كل المجالات بإذن الله إن شاء الله. دلوقتي نرحب بهم ودكتور هبة تتولى النقاش.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masoor. How are you? Today we are in the last session of slide interpretation, which is the first subject of our advanced group in UN program. And my guest today is Sarah Tiemann. She is native German speaker, and she will be my guest speaker today. She will talk about remote interpretation, or the features of the apps nowadays that we are dealing due to coronavirus. And she has 8 years of experience as a conference interpreter, court interpreter, medical interpreter, and her MA degree is in UK in interpretation. She is one of the influencers of the conference interpretation. I like her ways so much. She will have so intensive on-site information about remote interpretation, about this field, the mainstream trend of interpretation nowadays. Now you're on the floor. Sarah Tiemann, you can start.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hiba. Let me start in my favorite way.
Sure.
Oh, I want to get you all in the right mood. Because yes, we are working, we are always so professional, but come on, interpreting is our passion, isn't it? So let's live it. So thank you, Hiba, so much for letting me speak in your training course. Hiba is doing such a great job. You will learn how to interpret perfectly with her. I'm just here to make sure that you will always remember what your passion is, that it is your passion to interpret. Or is it not? Raise your hand. I think you also can do it virtually if your camera is off. If interpreting languages are your passion, you love different cultures, learning about different cultures, traveling. Okay, now it's a COVID-19 time, but other than that, I'm sure we all share the passion for languages and understanding the other culture that's behind it, because language shapes the way we think, right? So I'm here like to compliment Hiba's course to remind you that this is actually always behind everything you do. Yes, we want to interpret perfectly, but it's also our passion, it's our vocation. We love doing it. So always remember this. It's always, life should be fun, right? So let's always remember this. But yeah, today is about remote interpreting. I've been remote interpreting since 2014 as well. Quite soon after I graduated from university, I got into the field of interpreting interview in an interview setting, and there they already used online settings quite often. So thankfully, during COVID-19, it just switched kind of from maybe 30%, 70% online and in person to just like 100% online. So, but it's a great field, and I want to encourage you to see remote interpreting as an opportunity. And Hiba has already done such a great job in introducing me. I don't have anything to add to that introduction actually, except Ana ismi Sarah. This is about everything I know in Arabic. I hope that's okay for you. I did study it for, or tried to learn it, let me word it like that, for 2 semesters even during my master's course in England. They offered free language courses and I did Arabic. And I'm so sorry, this is the only phrase that's left. I could even write a little bit. It was so fascinating, I loved it. So Anna is me Sarah, and I'm really happy to be here today. And I will start to share my screen now to talk about the actual topic, remote interpreting. Share. So you should be able to see my screen now. So let me just try to start the presentation mode. Here it is. So I want to give you an overview of remote interpreting, because as I said, I started doing it in 2014, maybe even a little bit earlier. I'm always very straight on that. And the disclaimer, of course, first of all, this is all my personal opinion, my experiences. I don't represent any professional body, association. This comes all from me, my experience and my research. Remote interpreting, this is what I will talk about. First of all, about the definition, the terminology of that we call it remote interpreting, and there are some other ways you can call it as well, some settings, some legal aspects, but again, here it's all my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you any binding legal advice, but just from common sense and from my experience, I can give you some great tips. Then some technical aspects, some examples, case scenarios, the pros and cons of remote interpreting, and then we already come to the conclusion. So, the definition. Conference interpreters work via telephone or video transmission using the appropriate technical equipment. So it's kind of left open a lot, but it's good, right? Because as you have already probably learned yourself, now there are many platforms, like even though I have been doing it for more than 6 years already, remote interpreting, now more platforms have emerged and come up and started offering, hey, use us if you need interpreting, you know. So that's why it's good that it's kind of like a broad definition, because it's true, we need the right technical equipment and then we can do it. And this varies from assignment to assignment regarding what is the right equipment. We will come to that. The first setting I want to talk about is home office. So during the lockdown, we were all stuck at home, and if we were lucky enough, we could already start interpreting remotely right away. We only needed a laptop or computer, a good internet connection, stable of course, and possibly a phone line, because there are various scenarios, so conference interpreting for conferences, but there are many other settings, right, where we can interpret interviews, just like one presentation, negotiations, other types of conversations. And there sometimes, as I have here in my little graphic on the left-hand side, it depends. Sometimes there's only one interpreter if it's a short assignment, sometimes there are 2, and what you need is your laptop. And depending on the platform, there's even still a technician, an actual person behind the scenes somewhere. So all parties are remote, and there's still a technician, like you know it from real life conferences, that you can ask questions to, or even say, please make only the participant 2 louder. So they can even regulate the volume to not make everybody louder, but just like one of the speakers, you know, just as an example. Or if anything is up, you can message them. And vice versa, they can message you as well, which brings me, of course, to one of the cons later, because this is a much higher cognitive load for us interpreters, because we have to interpret, do our job, what we are there for, and also pay attention to the text-based chat, where also clients, by the way, can message anything as well. I don't hear the interpreter or something like this, but this is then usually something that the technician would take care of. But sometimes there is no technician now with the video collaboration tools. Then we are all on our own. Here's another bit of a bigger graphic when you are alone, or this could be 2 interpreters just in different places as well. You are in your home office, your colleague is in his or her home office at their place. And this is the example with the speaking line, because sometimes it depends on the video collaboration tool. Zoom already has it now, as you probably know. They have an interpreting feature. I think discuss.io as well, but it's new. And as I said, I've been doing it since for more than 6 years. So they use then a different phone line because we need to listen. It's one line. The listening line is one line, but then we need to interpret into a separate line for the listeners, right? And this is usually the setting when it's, or let me say it like this. The best setting for this is if it's only one directional. So I, for example, usually have the setting German into English and not, and this is the only direction. So this is then the easiest setup this way. The next setting of remote interpreting is having a remote hub. In Germany, there are also a few more now than there used to be before COVID-19. You have a booth, like we are used to it, like on the picture here, but it's installed fixed in one location in a city, in a given city, maybe in the capital of your country. In Germany also in multiple bigger cities there's a remote hub, sometimes even 2 depending on the company, but not so many. So we would still, for example, have to travel to the city where the fixed remote hub is. It's a booth like this, and there you would also have your colleague next to you. You have the same collaboration with your colleague as in a normal in-person event, because you and your colleague are face-to-face. So this is a good point about the remote hub, that the collaboration with your colleague is the same as we know it. With the video conferencing tools like before, if you don't meet in one of your home offices together, it's really difficult to do the handover. You have to have a different, a third line even, and privately, like nobody provides you with it, as in my experience. So you have to agree on, I don't know, for example, WhatsApp, Facebook, and open a third line for you guys to maybe communicate to each other. Because when we are on Zoom and it's with a camera, we also, like, we can give each other signs visually, but everybody else sees it as well, right? So if you're okay with this is completely fine, but we just need to be aware that if we give each other signs, everybody can see it. And the third line might just be easier instead of using the text-based chat of the tool as well, because in Zoom, you can, of course, stipulate whom you write to, but there's another factor. You have to select write only to this person, and until then, 2 sentences have already been spoken. So with the third line, you have something to communicate where you are sure it's just a line between you and your colleague. But always keep in mind that there can always be a delay, because those are all different lines. There might be a delay of a few seconds of the transmission when we are all in different countries. So this is that's why this is the advantage of the remote hub. You and your colleague are together working as you're used to, just, so to speak, the event is somewhere else. And we come to the conditions about that soon. Here we have, first of all, the some legal aspects which relate to the conditions, because whether it's a remote hub or you in your home office, we need a good quality and continuity let me say it again, continuity of the data connection, because it's what we rely on. The internet connection is everything. So at home, if you're in your home office, it's recommended to use a LAN connection. It's still more stable than Wi-Fi. I've already heard colleagues say that they now, since COVID-19, even have 2 internet providers, depending on your country and how the internet stability is in your country. But just to ensure that, oh, okay, if one provider fails, has a blackout, I have the second one who can kick in. So those are all things to consider. The internet is the most important tool we need here. And I recommend, but this is like me, I'm not a lawyer, this is why I'm not liable for any of this, but it's like common sense, and it's really necessary that you make sure that you are not liable if you are in your home office and your internet breaks down. That the client says, hey, either I won't pay you, or hey, I made a loss, you have to pay me, dear interpreter. No, you want to avoid this. So make a non-liability clause in the contract, or if it's depending on how you conclude the assignment, if it's via email, write it via email, then you have it in writing. Talk to the client also in person. Communication is everything. Make it clear to them that you provide everything to you the best of your abilities, but there is force majeure, you know, some things out of our power. If there's a blackout, it's not our fault. So, and we want to make sure we don't need to lose anything nor pay anything, you know. So the same similar things with confidentiality and data protection. Discuss this in the equal way, in the same way with your client, because at the beginning there was this scandal about Zoom and data protection. Like Germany is really like strict on data protection and so on. And Zoom was then in the negative press. Now it has become better. Zoom has improved it and so on. But I'm talking about confidentiality if something leaks out of the platform, because we interpret stuff that's confidential, but somebody can maybe hack into the platform, or who knows what can happen, and then they get the info. So make sure that it's not, you know, that you are not made liable for anything. It's, you know, the platform needs to, it's the platform's responsibility to not leak or anything like this, you know, and it's separate, and you are out of the picture here. Make this clear as well. Yeah, for some of you who are really interested in the technical aspects, here are some codes from the International Organization, International Standardization Organization, defining the conditions, the technical equipment, the booth, and everything have to comply with. Like I have this headset, for example, from a list given to me, that it complies with the technical standard, that it works for interpreting and so on. So if you want to read up on it, take a picture, write down those ISO codes. Those are the requirements to adhere to. For remote interpreting now, hearing protection is also something to consider. In real life events, same applies to the remote hub. It's provided by a technical company. There's a technician, and they provide you, like in a real life event, when you are in your booth, with the security and assurance that there won't be any blast or any hearing trauma, because there is a whole technical team and so on. But when we are in our home office, we have our computer, it's our internet, it's our headphones, so we have to also protect ourselves. So there are some limiter devices, they are called, that you can plug between your headset and your computer, and they prevent you from any blast or any big loud noisy sound to protect your hearing. For example, adapt ear or preserve ear are two examples. Next, the image quality is very important, because we interpreters love to see the person, to follow their lip movement, we understand better, right? When we see the person speaking, how they move, body language, gestures, facial expressions. This all helps us to understand their message, what they want to get across. So the image quality is really important. Next, latency, lip synchronicity, that goes along with it. If there's a delay, even just a few seconds, the image doesn't help us anymore, because if they say one thing and the lip movement to this one thing appears 5 seconds later, it's not helpful for us. So we really rely on our hearing only. So these are things you can discuss with a technician, if there is one, that they understand your needs, what they need to pay attention to, and make sure that the transmission connection and quality is up to scratch. Let me just check the timing. Okay, I will finish soon. So these are just the case scenarios. As I said already, I will go quickly over this home office webinar, the setting I mentioned, with either phone line or just via headphones. If there's a tool like Zoom who already has different channels to hear and to speak, then the hub solution, I told you about this as well. And the case scenarios are that the hub solution is usually for actual conferences, remotely, if the conference takes place somewhere else, a trade fair or some other live event. And the home office solutions are usually for shorter events, like a virtual presentation, an interview, or some negotiation. and community interpreting, where also remote interpreting or over the phone interpreting OPI had already been common before COVID-19. The pros and cons. In general, the pro is that remote interpreting also offers new ways to establish a multilingual communication, because now there are more situations where we can interpret, because now companies, they think of interpreting, whereas before COVID-19 maybe they would not have thought about it because it's just 1 hour or something like this, and now they would consider it. So it opens up more opportunities. And the cons are, however, the non-verbal communication between the interpreters is not possible. It's difficult, delays and so on, a higher cognitive load because of the text-based chat room and so on. Following the speaker's lip movement is important. Not seeing the real speaker's emotions and so on, as I said. So those are all things that make remote interpreting more difficult. Another pro, can be more environmentally friendly, okay, not traveling. And yeah, the other points already mentioned. Conclusion. So yeah, in general, it offers multilingual communications in many different scenarios. And there are different approaches that can, or let me say it like this, whether remote interpreting is compatible with the respective setting, and then which remote interpreting approach is to be used has to be assessed individually. I mean, our favorite saying as interpreters is, it depends, right? If somebody asks us, how would you say this? It depends. What is the context, you know? So it's the same here. What is the context? This is what you have learned. These are my sources. And lastly, but not least, let me just bring you the music again. I want to invite you to my interpreters practice group on Facebook. There are more than 1,100 members now. You can find language-specific practice groups, so Arabic and your B or C language. And we have a weekly live webinar. At the moment, it's every week and every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Central European time. Come along, check it out. And as I said, like, I'm here for the positive mindset. I want to create a global interpreters community shaped by a positive mindset, solidarity and mutual support, that we are truly connected, because I really want to help fellow interpreters to feel safe and understood, so that they or you may thrive fearlessly and successfully in your dream career. So learn how to interpret perfectly with Hiba and Mansour, and come for the positive mindset to my group. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Sarah. Yes, you have enjoyed your presentation with us. And now I lead the floor to Dr. Hiba to share with you some concerns and some questions from the participants. All participants are welcome to share with us their questions. And one of them we have here, Nurhan, have a question on chat box. Yes, Dr. Hiba, the floor is yours. Dr. Hiba, I will let you unmute it, please. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Hiba, we hear you.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So first, thank you so much, Sarah. I hear my voice, so can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, no echo. It's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Sarah, for your presentation. It's really insightful and comprehensive, intensive. I really like it so much. So now we have the participants who would like to ask questions. We have a question from Nurhan. So Nurhan, can you go ahead and ask it again? You can unmute yourself, Nurhan, and ask. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Eva.
Yes.
Yeah, you can read the question for Nurhan. What the difference between call centers and remote interpreting? Because Ms. Sarah said that there is our clients. Can I work remotely from whom, and how can I do it? Okay, this is the question from Nurhan.
All right, okay. Okay, let me see whether I understand your question correctly. What's the difference between call centers and remote interpreting? Well, it depends how you understand what a call center is. If any entity gives you a job, like they are per definition, first of all, your client. I mean, if somebody hires you, they are your client. It can be a call center, it can be an agency, it can be a direct client. That varies. That's up to who your client is. A call center can be your client. So I wouldn't say there's like a difference between call center and remote interpreting. If you interpret remotely for a call center, they would be your client. Maybe I don't understand correctly your question. Feel free to type it if you have a problem with your microphone to explain it. So yeah, there are if you're thinking of maybe an agency that offers remote interpreting, and like what I'm thinking of is like in the medical area, often you're hired to stand by then, and then there can be a call, and because you're on standby, you are there in your office, in your home office, for example, at home, and then you would pick up the call. Of course, you're also paid for the standby time on duty or on call, and then there would be this medical examination or question going on with the patient that you would then interpret. Yeah, this is what I can say to this. I hope this helps.
Okay.
What else? Can I work remote interpreting from home? How can I do it? Yeah, you need to find clients, just like you need to, if there was no remote interpreting, you need to find clients. So you need to do some client acquisition, and equipment-wise, you need a computer or laptop, a proper headset, internet connection, as I said, a good internet connection, and a phone line, possibly.
Great. We have here hand raised with Mr. Ahmed. Yes, Mr. Ahmed, you can start now, unmuted.
Okay, thank you so much for this presentation. Let me ask about the possibility of using remote interpreting in the diplomatic or political settings. Is that possible? Specifically that we are in the situations of COVID-19 and about the challenges of the communication, specifically in the in some countries which suffer from the problems of communication. Thank you so much.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, in the diplomatic section or political area, I think it depends on the event that takes place remotely. Then there would also be an organizer. If different heads of state talk to each other, there will still be interpreting going on, and also remotely. And those that hire you would then also yeah, it depends who hires you actually. If it's whether you are requested to consult them in how to do it, how to set it up, then of course it's helpful if you know that which platform could be used, which platform is maybe secure enough for their needs. But if it's in the political setting, chances are that they already have a platform or some tool because of all the security issues, and they would let you know what to use and how to use it. This is what I can say to this. What was the second part of the question? Maybe I forgot this. Did it answer already your question?
Great. I think we have here a question from our friend Ola. Please, Ola, be unmuted.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Welcome. I would ask you about the idea of lip synchronicity. You have told us it's one of the disadvantages or the challenges you are going to confront or to encounter while remote interpreting. So how do you deal with that? Because I found it's a really tough job to interpret without seeing a person in front of you speaking with his lips moving. So it's
very
how
good
do you deal
question.
with it? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, very good question. Well, in the end, we have to rely on our ears, and here the audio connection is so important that it's clear, no rustling, that the other end also wears some headphones, or sometimes even not, depends if they only wear headphones without a microphone. I already had a situation where I asked them, oh, can you please take out your headphones? And then it was much better because it was like without a microphone, and then it was all tinny and you couldn't really understand them. So the audio quality here is really important. Then if you have somebody to talk to from the event, the organizer, your contact point, tell them that then if there's no visual, that the audio is super important. It's anyhow, I mean, of course, but sometimes it's already over the phone or the video doesn't work. And if there's a video, let them know. Hey, what is, you know, internet connection needs to be really good. Please do everything possible that it's always in real time, the transmission, to follow the lips as well as possible. And other than that, we have to use all of our other tools that we have learned. Preparation, already knowing beforehand what the speaker actually wants to say. Understanding the speaker's message already before they speak helps so much in understanding them. Then you don't have to guess anything. If you have any slight doubt, and if you have the slightest doubt in, did they say this now? Did I hear this right? Then you can use your preparation. Oh, but this would contradict his message. This cannot be. It must be this way he must have meant it, you know, and then it's much easier. So preparation is key, understanding the message of the speaker. I hope this helps.
Okay, great. Also, we have here a technical question from our friend Elsa. Elsa, please be muted. Be unmuted now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mansour.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. It was a very interesting presentation here. I'm actually looking, because I do work a little bit in remote interpreting. I do get some projects, and so I'm just looking for headphones. And I, because of there's a lot of choices and a lot of offerings and stuff like that, and so I don't really know which ones are to be picked by me, and how do I get them shipped to my country, and etc. So what advice do you give me related to which headphones I should have if I use, for example, a Windows 10 laptop? How do I deal with that? So yeah, it's very more logistical, technical question,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
I would use some help.
Yeah. Oh gosh, if I knew now which model this was. So this is Logitech M300, or I think M300 or something like this. And I know if there's a professional buddy in your country, maybe they already have a list. I know that because I have this from a list from the German professional buddy, but since I'm not representing anybody here, of course, it's just my personal opinion. I cannot provide this, of course. But yeah, if you have a professional buddy, check whether they have a list already, because they.
We unfortunately haven't.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Logitech is good. This M300, I think it was. This is, but like, I don't want to advertise it or anything, but this is the only one I can think of now. And let me just check whether I can see any number on it, whether it's the right number. It doesn't say. It doesn't say, of course, and it's already a while ago now that I bought it. So, but Logitech, like any good quality, I think how much did I pay for it? Like it's, oh, I can't remember either, but it was okay. It was like €100 or something like this. I know how much it is in your currency. It's like also $100 or €100 is approximately equal, if that helps you better to imagine. But even sometimes for cheaper, you know, €70, and it just look for a high frequency range, the hertz, HZ. and whether it already has an integrated blast protection or something like this. Yeah, the biggest range of frequency as possible, and if it already has an integrated protection. Is what I can think of, yeah. But to be honest, with the blast protection, in my experience, I have never had any issue, even like not with video collaboration tools. But of course, it only has to happen once and then it's over, you know. So, but so it's good to. I think this also has an integrated one already. But if you want to save some money and not get the limiter device, and make sure that your headphones already have it. Yeah, other than that, a high range of frequency, that it can really capture all frequencies, and that it already lowers the noise from outside. So if there's some noise, some kids playing out or whatever outside, even though I have the window closed, you know, that it wouldn't capture that, you know, this that the microphone can already select the different sound sources.
Okay, great, amazing. Thank you.
Training them. They are also freelance interpreters. So now here's another question from Sara Al-Qadi. She's saying if her language level is excellent, can she work without experience?
I would say yes. Here it's up to your mindset. My favorite topic, actually, because we all have to start somewhere. And look, you're practicing here, you're following Hiba's course, you already have practice. So apply for a job, freelance jobs, I mean, do client acquisition. And when you get the first assignment, do it. Just do it, you know, don't be afraid, you know, you have all the tools, and even if you are new to the field, you know, see it as a positive. You have your state of the art. You know all the latest tools, what's going on. Some people, you know, have been on the market, you know, I need to look up what my CV, whether my CV is still on the, you know, the right status, because it changes every 2 years, what is required to, how to write your CV, you know. So you are state of the art, you are really up to date. So take everything that's, that you have learned, it's a positive, you know. Yes, you can work, do it, yeah. Do it according to the right, of course, code of ethics, like, you know, take the right jobs for the right fee and so on. Don't undersell yourself just because you are new. Don't allow this argument. No, you have just completed this and this course. You know, as I said, you have the most recent skills. You learned the newest stuff. So you do the job, you get the full pay. Hello, you know. So yes, do it. Mindset, like work on your mindset, that tell yourself you can do it, you know. Don't let your self-limiting beliefs hinder you.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Sarah. And guys, do you have any other questions you'd like to write it? Would you like to raise your hand to ask any other questions? Okay, here's a question of Muhammad. He's saying, please mention the programs to be used in delivering RI.
Oh, they're all new now. No? I know a few people who offer some trainings. The professional bodies of different countries are on it. I don't know, like I cannot tell you any, like I don't want to recommend or advertise any specific programs here, but if you search them online, you will find some. Don't limit it to the country, maybe, because they can be also online now, so you can participate from everywhere. Also, if the program maybe is from a person somewhere else, but there are options, yeah. And this course here is already like teaching you a lot, so you're already in the right place.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah, for your answer. And I see that we have honored to have you today with us, and it's really value adding to my program for interpretation. And talking about remote interpretation, it's one of the, as I told, mainstream trend nowadays in interpretation. Everything is converted to be in remotely. Everything like everything in our life. So thank you so much for your presentation again. Thank you so much for attending today in our program, and thank you, and my participant, my colleagues here, sorry, my trainees here are saying that they would like to have the link of your group so that in the chat room, so that they can
okay?
join
can I post
easily.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And by the way, guys, the group of Sarah Tiemann is one of the best groups I see for practices for remote interpreting, and I really enjoy every time I go to the group. I have some new information and some new value-added information to you, to everything you know about remote interpretation, about interpretation, how to get to know each other, how to, as I will add, or I will repeat again to Sarah Tiemann, as she said, here's solidarity, no competition. So I like this slogan so much. No competition, we can all have solidarity, we can all cooperate together, so that, because we are colleagues in the same career, in the same field. So I thank you so much, Sarah, for this slogan, for this spirit. And I thank you so much, guys, for attending today. Thank you so much, Mr. Mansour. You can conclude, you can end.
Welcome and on board, Ms. Sarah Tiemann. We are really enjoyed your presentation, and kindly please share with us your presentation, because some of the attendees asked us about this. Also, we have need to know more about the RI, or remote interpreting, or what is called also RSI, remote simultaneous interpretation. But time is up now for this event. And thank you for being with us. And also thank you, Dr. Hiba, for sharing with us the experience, and also training our trainees to be our future interpreters. Thank you all. And we have to go by now. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.